Hi there, Philip Johnson here, eXp Realty in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to quickly go over some statistics that I pulled up here. I'm using InfoSparks Market, which is connected to our Triangle multiple listing service. Again, I'm Philip Johnson. You can contact me at 919-868-3171 or email me at philip.johnson@exprealty.com, and my website is philipjohnsongroup.com. So what I've done here is I've drawn a comparison of 4 different price points, plus including all price ranges. So basically 5 price points. Okay, um, and I'm using month supply. So month supply is basically saying how many months will it take to deplete X number of houses. Okay, so if the number's high, that means it just like here at 9.7, that means it takes 9.7 months to sell all the current inventory. Okay, so I like using month supply because I think it kind of ties in all the other things in a roundabout way. What? Of course, days on the market. These other. I could be popping all these buttons down here and popping up all these different graphs and things and showing you different things. But for the purpose of what I'm trying to show you here, I think month supply is a very clear picture of what's going on, because that's what drives increases in prices, everything, supply and demand, right? Common sense. So what I've done is I've gone back to 2015 and comparing 2015 with 2016 and 2017. Okay, so that's what each one of these 3 bars in each price point represent. Okay, this red bar here over here on the bottom right is the all price ranges. Okay, so $100,000 house, $3 million house, it's all figured into this. Okay, and then starting on the far left over here, it goes from 300 to 450, from 450 to 6, from 6 to 1 million, and then from 1 million plus. Okay, so naturally you're going to assume with month supply that the month supply is going to be higher as you go up in price point. Makes perfect sense, right? Okay, so one of the things you need to pay attention to is the rate of change. Okay, if you're comparing one year to the next, it doesn't mean that the 2008 is going to be, it doesn't. We're not predicting necessarily the trend is going one way or the other necessarily. I'm just showing the numbers, and you can kind of decide how you think it's going. Okay, that's the best way to put it. The criteria I used as far as what type of property and whether it was new or old and size and all that, I just left it completely open. There is no property type or new construction or square footage or bedroom or cell type. None of that was used in this search. But I did use 4 different price points. I used 300,000 to 450. I've already explained these all to you. So in the yellow it would be 300 to 450. So let's talk about this. I didn't bother with from 0 to 300,000 because if you're familiar at all with Wake County market, you know what's going on there. Everything is selling multiple offers very quickly. Those numbers would be less than 1. Okay, and in some areas it's like 0.2 or 0.4. It's almost uncalculable because the houses are selling multiple offers in the first day that they're on the market. So what I've done is I've done 4 price points. So the first one here is 300 to 450, and you can see what's happening. Well, let's go back here really quick. With all price ranges, you can see it's going from 2015 to 2016. It dropped rather drastically. Okay, I mean 12% drop in month supply. Okay, and then from 2016 to 17, it dropped again almost 10%, 9.1%. Okay, just a little over 9%. But the rate was slower, but it still dropped very fast. And again, this has a lot to do with the first-time home buyer and the investors and all that hitting this marketplace in those $150,000 to $250,000 price range. Okay, so from 300 to 450 here, you can see from 2015 to 2016 it dropped 7.1%, and then again from 300,000 to 450. Just want to make sure you understand 300 to 450, it dropped 3.8%. So it continued to drop, but just not as fast a rate. Okay, still 2.5 months supply is excellent. Okay, they consider anything between like in 3 and 4 months. Some even could say even higher than that. It's a very healthy market, a robust market. When you hit in the 6-month price thing, it's more neutral. Okay, and then of course as it gets higher and higher, it becomes more of a buyer's market because there's more inventory for the buyer. Following me? That's why I like month supply. It's a simple supply and demand. Okay, so when you go up to the 450 to 600, you're going to see a trend that's starting to happen here. Okay, although it's still more months supply than it is from the 300 to 450, these numbers are starting to change a little more toward the downward in a little faster pace. So from 2015 to 2016, it only dropped 2.4%, but in 2017 it dropped 4.9%. So it actually had a more of an increase downward than over here. It actually the percentage of decrease was actually less than it was in 2016. Even though it still went down, it was less. The rate was slower. Here the rate is doubled. Okay, I'm not projecting what's going to happen in 2018. I'll just giving you the numbers. You can decide on your own. Okay, from $600 to $1 million, the number went from 5.8. It went up to 6, and then it dropped down to 5.6. So it went up 3.4% from 15 to 16. Instead of down like all these other numbers, it went up to 3.4%. I have my theory as to why that happened. And then it's dropped 6.7% from this number to 5.6. So now it's actually lower than it was in 2015. And a lot of reasons why that is as you get into these higher end markets, a lot of these houses were still, borderline upside down. That kind of thing. So in 2015, in latter part of 2015 too, they started hitting the market, and in 2016 they started hitting the market. So the market really wasn't quite prepared for maybe some of these to hit the market as far as buyers go, because a lot of people are staying in their homes. That's why inventory is so low. But that's what's basically happened. So now you can see this activity starting to pick up, and it did a drastic 6.7% drop from 2016 to 17. In this $600 to $900 $1 million basically price range. Okay, you follow me? So now when you hit the $1 million price range, the same thing happened in the $1 million range as it did over here. There just went, there was kind of a flood of houses on the market, kind of towards the end of 2015, or in that range, and in the middle or the latter half, as people started being able to dig out of the recession of 2008, and so more houses hit, but there just weren't the buyers there to buy them. So it actually went up, even though every other statistical category basically went down, except for in this other price range where it went up a little bit, but over here it went up even higher. It went up from 3.4% to 7.5%. So to me, that's just logically telling me there were more houses on the market than there were buyers, and the reason why is because they just started getting out from under water. Okay, but now what you're seeing is a trend of it went from 0.75% higher to from 2006 to 7, it's dropped 3% from that. So it's still higher than it was in 2015. Again, it's still recovering from all the houses that kind of hit the market, but it's starting to drop. Now that's a healthy time for a buyer in that 9.7 month. That means that you can typically negotiate a little more. The longer the house sits there, the more potential you have to gain a benefit. The lower it is, the less likelihood you have to benefit. So it's not an exact science, but I think it's pretty accurate. I want to thank you for listening. I'm Phillip Johnson with the Phillip Johnson Group. You can call me again at 919-868-3171. Visit me on the web at phillipjohnsongroup.com or email me at phillip.johnson@exprealty.com. Thank you.